Hi nursery, I'm going to be telling you a story today all about a little girl called Sophie, her mum and someone who came to visit them. Can you guess what story it might be? Yeah, it's the tiger who came for tea. Okay, so once upon a time there was a lady here and a little girl called Sophie. Now, they were in the kitchen one evening making dinner for their daddy, and they were cooking and stirring and mixing and doing lots of very big jobs in the kitchen when they heard a big noise and knock at the door. Sophie said, "Mum, who's that?" Mummy said, "I don't know. I'll have to go and have a look. But it can't be the milkman because he came last week. And it can't be the grocery store boy because he came last week too. And it's definitely not Daddy because he has his keys. I wonder who it could be." So Sophie said, "Well, go and answer it then and see who it is." So off Sophie's mummy went to the door. She got the door handle and she opened it. And stood in the doorway was a big, furry tiger. He had stripes, he had pointy ears, and he was just stood there like this. Sophie's mummy said, "What do you want, Mr. Tiger? Why are you at my house?" The tiger said, "Well, I'm so hungry, I wondered if I could come in for tea at your house." So Sophie's mummy said, "Of course you can, come on in." So in the tiger went, and they sat down at the table. While they were sat at the table, Sophie was a little bit shocked. She was looking at the tiger like, "Oh, I wonder what you're doing in my house." But Sophie's mummy was like, "It's fine. We can just give the tiger some food. That will be really kind." So the tiger was sat there with his tummy rumbling, and Sophie's mummy said, "Mr. Tiger, would you like a sandwich?" The tiger said, "Oh, yes, please." And he went to take a sandwich. He ate one sandwich. And then he took all of the sandwiches off the tray and ate them all. Then Sophie's mummy said, "You still look a little bit hungry. Would you like an iced bun?" So the tiger looked at the iced buns and he licked his lips. I would love one. So he took one. He had a little bite. Then he took all of the buns and ate them all up. Then Sophie's mummy didn't know what to say next. So she thought, maybe he's thirsty. So she got the teapot and she said, "Mr. Tiger, would you like a drink of tea?" And the tiger said, "Oh yes, please, I'm so thirsty." So she poured him a cup and he got the cup and he drank it. Then he picked up the pot and he drank the whole teapot full of tea. Then Sophie's mummy didn't know what to do because he was still sat there and she didn't have anything left to give him. But the tiger got up and he went to the cupboard. He opened the cupboard. He got out the biscuits and the tins and he ate them all up. Then he went over to the fridge and he opened the fridge. He took out the juice and all of the milk and the drinks in the fridge and drank them all until there was no drinks left in the fridge. Then he went over to the tap, turned on the tap and drank the water. All of the water from the tap. Sophie's mummy was like this. Sophie was like this. They didn't know what to say. Then the tiger saw the cooker and he decided he still was a little bit peckish. So he went over to the cooker. He got the pan. He had a look in the pan and he saw the delicious dinner that Sophie and her mum was making for Daddy. So he gave it a stir and he started to eat all of the dinner that was cooking in the pan. Sophie's mummy didn't know what to do, so she said, "Mr. Tiger, you've eaten all of our food and all of our drink. You've drank all of our drinks. You've drank all of the water out of the tap. You've eaten Daddy's dinner. We haven't got anything left." So the tiger said, "Oh, well, thank you so much. That was delicious food and it was very tasty drinks, but I have to go now. Goodbye." And off he went out of the house. So Sophie's mum and Sophie were left in the house wondering what to do next. Just then they heard some keys in the door. The door opened and in walked Daddy. He looked around and he wondered what was going on, because Sophie and her mum were just stood there, not knowing what to do next. And they explained to Daddy that a tiger had come for tea, he'd eaten all of the food, drank all of the drinks, he even drank the water from the tap, so when Sophie went for a bath, she couldn't have a bath because there was no water left. I wonder what Daddy's going to say. He stood there for a moment and he scratched his head. I wonder what we can do now. So Daddy said, "Why don't we get our clothes on, our coats, and go for tea at the cafe?" Sophie was so excited. She was jumping up and down. "Yay, I love going to the cafe." And Mum came along too. They all put their coats on and they went to the cafe for dinner. They ordered some yummy, yummy food and ate it all up. And after they'd eaten their food, they went home. And they got changed and they went to bed. Then, the next day, Sophie's mummy thought and thought and thought. And she thought, if that tiger comes back, I don't want him to eat all of our food again. Maybe we need to do something. So what do you think Sophie's mummy did that day? She went to the supermarket and she bought something special. Yep, she bought some tiger food, a big giant tin, and she carried it home and put it in the top of the cupboard, ready in case a tiger came again. But he never did. I hope you enjoyed that story. I love that story. It's one of my favourites. So, yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. Okay, bye-bye.